Minnesota House and Senate Republicans are asking Governor Walz for a special session to fix a new SRO law.
And various law enforcement agencies have begun pulling out their school resource officers due to some confusion over this new law. Fox 9's Karen Scullin joining us live now with more on this developing story. Karen?
Well, Republicans want to repeal this new law, but so far it seems there's no real chance for a special session to do that.
In my view, it strikes me as a solution looking for a problem. And the good news is that it's not too late.
Minnesota Republicans say the new SRO law needs to be fixed fast, asking the governor to call for a special session.
This is a time when we can truly come together as Minnesotans, regardless of your party, regardless of your political beliefs, and do what's right.
The new law essentially prohibits any kind of physical restraint in the torso area unless there is imminent bodily harm or death. A problem, police say, at a football game, for instance, where students may be disorderly, throwing things and causing a ruckus.
Generally, what we will try to do is get them to leave or trespass them from the school property. We cannot do that physically. We actually would have to call officers in off the street who are governed by other rules in this statute to manage that situation then. So the cops are calling the cops.
The chief also saying it's not just the issue of using restraint, but the law also makes it confusing as to when police or staff can use restraint, giving an example of an escalating hallway argument.
At what point are we saying in that confrontation we now have a threat? Is it when they're standing there talking? Is it when they start to argue? Is it when people are standing chanting fight, fight? Or is it when they actually start pushing and throwing punches?
Republicans say they have at least some bipartisan support to make the necessary changes.
We could have this done in just a couple of days. Our governor has called special sessions throughout his entire time as governor. This is priority. We need school safety in Minnesota.
Governor Walz said earlier this month lawmakers are misinterpreting the law and school resource officers can use reasonable force whenever needed.
There's exceptions to student health, risk to them, risk to the police. So it is not being interpreted correctly, and that they certainly have the authority to do that.
Now, the DFL House and Senate committee chairs issued a statement that says we value the role that school resource officers play in keeping schools safe, and Governor Walz's administration is working diligently to ensure that districts and law enforcement have the guidance they need to do their jobs effectively. Now, some law enforcement agencies are finding workarounds, which means they'll kind of patrol around the school, maybe do walkthroughs at various times of the day in the schools, but there will be no one stationed inside the school. Some critics say that hinders the effort to bridge the gap between youth and law enforcement. We're live at the state capitol. Karen Scullin, Fox 9.